So ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for us to move towards our next topic, our next conversation. Our next topic is about leading disruption to drive growth. And to talk more about it, we have someone truly special, Marc Pritchard, P&G's Chief Brand Officer, who is also a veteran for more than 3 decades. He has over 2 decades of progressive experience in the health and beauty categories and is known for pioneering approach to product and operational innovation. He was appointed as P&G's Chief Marketing Officer in the year 2008. As P&G's top brand builder, Marc believes in the power of brands to serve people with the best performing products, while also being a force for good through ethics, responsibility, and community impact, diversity, inclusion, gender, equality, and environmental sustainability. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome Marc Pritchard on stage. The stage is yours now. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause, Marc Pritchard.
मैं पूरन पोली बना रही हूँ, तेरे भाई की फेवरेट। तेरे रूम की क्या हालत बना रखी है इसने ना, बस पूछ मत। हाँ, तो तू बता रही हूँ सुबह सुबह कैसे फोन किया? ऑफिस नहीं गई? क्या जॉब छोड़ दिया मतलब? अरे ऐसे कैसे? कितनी तरक्की हुई थी तुम्हारी, ये हम भी कितना प्राउड फील कर रहे थे। अचानक ये जॉब छोड़ना, रियू कैसे?
क्या हुआ?
दीदी जॉब छोड़ रही है।
क्यों?
पर बेटा, शादी के बाद घर के काम बढ़ जाते हैं, लेकिन तू अकेले थोड़ी है। आकाश भी तो है तुम्हारे साथ, वो घर के काम में तुम्हारी हेल्प कर सकता है ना? अरे उसे घर का काम नहीं आता मतलब? ऐसे कैसे नहीं आता? नहीं आता होगा। गलती हमारी है। बेटियों को पैरों पे खड़ा होना सिखाते हैं, लेकिन बेटों को हाथ बटाना नहीं सिखाते। तू और एक बार सोच ले, मैं रात को फोन करती हूँ।
क्या हुआ माँ? क्या हुआ मॉम?
गलती हो गई, सुधार रही हूं।
Thank you. You just watched a compelling story from Ariel Laundry Detergent, using the brand's voice to inspire men and boys to share the load in household chores. It already has 21 million views, and it's helping change attitudes about gender equality here in India, while growing sales and market share. And we do this kind of work around the world because we challenge ourselves with a question: what if brands could be a force for good and a force for growth? It's a provocative question because it stretches the mind to consider possibilities. But the bigger challenge is taking action. It's one thing to talk about purpose, duty, and goodness, but it's quite another thing to truly live by a brand dharma, which may be why, despite the ongoing rhetoric and good intentions on improving societal issues, progress continues to be slow, Some might even say it's glacial. Take gender equality. It's common sense that there should be equality between women and men in representation, roles, voice, pay, and respect. But the reality is, it isn't equal. Chronic gender gaps persist around the world in health, education, pay, economic participation, and representation. And the gaps are even more pronounced among women of color, women who identify as LGBTQ, and women with disabilities. Take sustainability. These problems are well known. Climate change, ocean plastic, water and sanitation crisis, landfill waste, greenhouse gases, and related social issues. Yet there's a chronic intention to action gap, as more than 65% of people say they want to do something about sustainability for a sustainable future, but when asked what they actually do, there's a big drop in action to about 30%. And then there's technology. The exponential power of data and digital technology is transforming how we live and work, connecting us like never before, and enabling us to develop stories like you just saw in order to reach millions at a fraction of the cost of what we used to pay. But technology has also brought unwelcome problems in areas such as privacy protection, media transparency, and disinformation. Equality, sustainability, and technology certainly have pervasive issues, and they also offer tremendous opportunities. But these issues can only be solved, and these opportunities can only be realized through individual and collective action. So what if brands, arguably the most pervasive forces in the world for business growth, could also be used as a force for good? Brands are ubiquitous. They touch people every day, often multiple times a day. And what if all brands stepped up to be a force for good and a force for growth? Imagine the impact if we all use the power of brand dharma. So let's explore a few of these questions today. I want to start with the fundamental question that's often asked. Why do brands get involved in societal issues? Why don't they just stick to selling products? Well, the reality is consumers are telling us they expect more from brands. They want to know what brands believe in, the people behind them, their values and their views, and the actions they're taking on important issues. 9 of 10 consumers today say that they have a more positive image of a brand when it supports a social cause. And half say they make purchase decisions based on shared beliefs with brands. People of all ages, from Gen Z to baby boomers, expect brands to take a stand. It's also become clear that doing good is good for growth. The UN indicates that achieving the Sustainable Development Goals represents a $12 trillion economic opportunity through a fairer, broader-based, and more sustainable economy. McKinsey goes a step further, estimating that full economic equality between women and men would add $28 trillion to the world economy. And Interbrand's Best Global Brands reports that the brands that are improving quality of life outperform the stock market by as much as 120%. And let's face it, brands have always had an impact on society and culture. Advertising affects our language. Has anybody here ever said, just do it? And new product technologies change everyday life. When was the last time you said, let's take a selfie? So what if? What if brands could help improve society by promoting gender equality? Gender equality is limited by bias, gender bias. The images and portrayals of people in advertising affect perceptions because they embed memories into our minds that in turn form bias. The ANA #SeeHer movement recently studied 40,000 ads and found that 29% of women are still inaccurately or negatively portrayed through some form of stereotyping, objectification, or diminished character. That's unacceptable. And we all own this in this industry, which is why we're using our brands to eliminate bias by accurately and realistically portraying women and girls in advertising and media of all races, sexualities, abilities, and cultures, so we can eliminate stereotypes, promote important conversations, change attitudes and behavior, and drive growth. For example, one of our best growing brands, Always, has literally changed the meaning of the phrase like a girl worldwide. 76% of people now consider like a girl a positive expression versus only 19% before the campaign. SK2's Change Destiny campaign in Asia rejects the notion that women have an expiration date that defines when they're expected to live up to societal expectations. And they just launched Meet Me Halfway to address the pressure that women face when going home to Chinese New Year on expectations about when they're going to get married. Vicks in India shined the light on intersectional equality with its groundbreaking Touch of Care film, inspiring conversations and changing attitudes about protecting transgender equality. And what about men? The role of men matters. Men play an equally important role as women in eliminating bias, promoting equality, and demonstrating positive social and cultural behavior. For example, in addition to Ariel inspiring men and boys to share the load, Dawn features men doing the dishes, as many do every day. Swiffer shows dads cleaning and dusting, and Pampers highlights dads lovingly sharing diaper duty. Gillette has shaped perceptions of masculinity for generations, including the iconic line, "The best a man can get." They recently took a bold step to start a conversation about a more modern, positive view of what it means to be the best men can be in today's world. We constantly talk with men who said they believe that being a good man means not only rejecting bad behavior, like harassment, objectification, and bullying, but also being a role model for others by stepping up to take positive action.
Bullying.
The Me Too movement against sexual
Toxic
harassment.
masculinity.
Is this the best a man can get? Is it? We can't hide from it.
Sexual harassment is taking over.
It's been going on far too long. We can't laugh it off.
Who's the daddy?
What I actually think she's trying to say.
Making the same old excuses.
Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys. Boys will be boys.
But something finally changed.
Allegations regarding sexual assault and sexual harassment.
But she says
And there will be no going back. Because we believe in the best in men.
Men need to hold other men accountable.
Smile, sweetie.
Come on.
To say the right thing. To act the right way.
Bro, not cool. Not cool.
Some already are. In ways big
Yo, men.
and small. But some is not enough.
Is that how we treat each other, okay? Okay.
Because the boys watching today will be the men of tomorrow.
Now, this film already has 110 million views, 12 billion media impressions, and it's causing people to pause, reflect, and consider what they can do to set an even better example for the next generation. It's being used in classrooms and universities to encourage discussions on masculinity and culture. And academics, psychologists, and community organizers have lauded its messages. At the same time, not everyone agrees with the messages. We respect different viewpoints and pay attention to all of them. But it's important to discern between actual consumer sentiment and some of the overheated social media rhetoric that you may have heard that disproportionately amplifies controversy. In fact, independent research from multiple sources point to a far more positive response than what's been reported in the media. Most people, men and women alike, support the messages, particularly among Gen Z and millennials. The majority of people who have seen the film feel that Gillette shares their values and say they feel better about the brand and are more likely to purchase its products. If nothing else, we hope people take time to view the entire film, and even if they don't agree, they'll have a constructive conversation about it with friends, families, colleagues, and most importantly, with themselves. Because although this is a hard conversation, it's one that needs to be had. And despite the heat, Gillette will keep having it. Now, we're proud of these examples, but P&G is only one company with 65 brands. What if all companies and brands joined forces to collaborate for gender equality? Well, it can be done. The ANA #SeeHer movement and UN Women on Stereotype Alliance promote gender equality through accurate and realistic portrayals of women and girls in advertising and media. 1,000 brands have joined, representing $50 billion worth of ad spending. But that's only 10% of worldwide ad spending. We can do more. So my call to action is for all of us to join. Let's at least double the number of companies and brands involved by 2020 and achieve 100% accurate and realistic portrayal of women and girls in advertising and media. Let's turn to another pressing issue, the environment. What if brands could help the environment by driving sustainable behavior so we could address the intention to action gap that I talked to you about earlier? Now, sustainable behaviors are limited. They're limited by human nature because people don't easily change habits. What if brands made it easy to responsibly consume products and reduce energy, waste, and water just by using them? For example, what if a laundry detergent could save energy? Tide has created formulas that can clean clothes in cold wash, lowering energy usage because most of a laundry machine's energy comes from heating the water. Switching to cold wash cleaning for a year can save enough energy to charge your mobile phone for a lifetime. What if using a shampoo could help stop the flow of plastics into oceans? TerraCycle and Suez have developed a technology to turn beach plastic waste into shampoo bottles. We've applied it to our Head & Shoulders brand to raise awareness on the issue of ocean plastic while at the same time converting 25% of our European shampoo bottles to post-consumer recycled plastic. This will eliminate thousands of tons of plastic from the ocean every year. What if you could get great hair without using any water? It can be done. The new Waterless brand offers a full range of dry hair care solutions with an innovative foam technology. It was co-designed with the women of Cape Town during last year's water crisis. So it allows people to get great hair without a single drop of water. And what if a tiny swatch could help improve the environment? We're testing a technology codenamed DS3 that completely eliminates water from the final product. One liquid-free swatch works better than the heavy water-based cleaning products. So it reduces the need for plastic bottles and the millions of gallons of water that are required to make, ship, and use everyday household and personal care products. Now, brands solve problems every day for people, but they use a lot of water, a lot of energy to manufacture, transport, and consume. And after using them, they can generate unwanted waste. So if we could reduce, renew, and recycle that water, energy, and waste, it'd be good for people, good for the planet, and it would save billions of dollars to invest in innovation, which is good for business. But what if all brands and companies join forces to collaborate to improve the environment? That too can be done. The Sustainable Brands #BrandsForGood collaborative has brands using their voices to promote sustainable behavior through responsible consumption. The Alliance to End Plastic Waste advances innovative solutions to end plastic waste in the environment, especially in the oceans. The Loop Alliance, announced at the World Economic Forum, includes companies that are innovating to refill, reuse, and recycle packaging of all kinds. And the 50-Liter Home Alliance was introduced to inspire innovation to address the water crisis and help people live on 50 liters a day in their homes versus the average of 500 liters today. Now, we have a good start on these collective actions. There's about 50 companies involved. But again, we need to do more. So my call to action is for all of us in the industry here to join at least one, if not more, of these alliances. We should be able to easily double the involvement by 2020 and make a big impact on driving sustainable behavior. And finally, let's talk now about technology. For the last decade, digital technology has disrupted our industry. the advertising, media, and marketing industry. Traditional TV and print continues its steady decline. Digital media is dominant, but now we have a lot more ad blockers. Many are cutting the cord completely with over-the-top viewing and no ads at all. E-commerce is growing exponentially, and it's driven more by algorithms, ratings, and reviews than advertising. Direct-to-consumer startups are coming after everyone, and they're growing users with one-to-one engagement, completely bypassing media networks. And the agency world is in flux, with startup agencies, crowdsourcing models. Even consulting firms are getting into the business. But while all of us have been obsessed, appropriately, with how it affects our industry, it's clear that pervasive data, analytics, and digital technology will soon dominate every aspect of how people live, work, and play. Virtual shopping, robotic supply chains, virtual product innovation, precision one-to-one media, artificial intelligence, blockchain, meshing, AR, VR, MR, voice, you name it. Data and technology are literally affecting every aspect of daily life and enabling people to solve their unique problems and meet their individual desires in a highly personalized yet very interconnected way. So what we've decided to do is to pivot and focus on technology, on how technology can be used to go beyond just reinventing advertising, media, and marketing, to reinvent the entire consumer experience. And we're asking the question, what if? What if our brands could use cutting-edge technology in everyday household and personal care products to completely reinvent the consumer experience and improve everyday life? For example, what if your toothbrush could give you a personalized dental care coaching? The Oral-B Genius X was developed with data from thousands of human brushing behaviors. It enables the brush to instantly recognize your unique style and provide personalized feedback. The AI embedded in it tells you whether you're brushing too little or too long in one place, or missing an area completely. The AI also recognizes where you're brushing for real-time feedback on your smartphone, with personal guidance that leads to superior oral health. What if you could get personalized skin care with a selfie? Olay Skin Advisor is a web-based analytics and AI platform that allows you to take a selfie and understand the age of your skin versus your actual age. It's actually a very frightening experience for people like me, but it's good because its proprietary algorithm has been trained with over 50,000 images to detect the areas that are driving skin age, and then pinpoint the regimen that fits your unique skincare needs. What if you could have a flawless look without heavy makeup? With algorithms, optics, printing technology, and skincare in one device, Optay's camera scans, detects, and corrects imperfections on your skin, treating only the small areas on your skin that need correction. It uses less than 5% of a regular foundation, so it actually shows the natural beauty of your skin that makeup and professional treatments can't achieve. And what if your brand was smart, from store to home? The SK2 Future X Smart Store offers an AI-supported shopping experience with personalized recommendations based on smart scans of your skin, browsing on virtual shelves, and shopping through the wave of a hand. It's an augmented reality retail environment, including facial recognition and computer vision, and it's enhanced by proprietary skin science and diagnostics to get exactly what you need. And then when you take SK2's facial treatment essence home, it has a smart packaging with IoT technology embedded in the cap, and it connects with a companion app so you can get personalized skincare every day. Now look, we're clearly on the edge of the next generation and the next revolution in using technology to make people's lives better. But we can't ignore the potential pitfalls. We've seen what happens when unbridled technology expands: data misuse, privacy breaches, transparency lapses, cybersecurity issues, fraud, brand safety, and bad actors, creating divisiveness and social unrest. As an industry, we cannot let this happen again. We have a duty as an industry to get ahead of this next generation of technology. And I'd like to challenge us all in the advertising, media, and agency ecosystem to unite and take action on technology for good. There are already many efforts undergoing right now, but they're disconnected. And it's time to come together for critical mass and tangible action. We need to operate under common standards on data privacy and how we handle consumer data, and it all needs to be clear to the consumers. We need to stop debating and move forward to provide levels of media transparency, starting with transparency on viewability, on third-party measurement, on fraud and brand safety. And then we need to go to the next level of cross-media platform development so we can understand how we're actually advertising to different people and we can measure our performance both within platforms and across platforms. And we need to get ahead of and set standards for the ethical use of machine learning and artificial intelligence. Now is the time for our industry to unite and act. And we have several powerful trade associations: the International Association of Advertisers, the WFA, ANA, IAB, 4As, and ISBA. They represent thousands of companies and brands. So my call to action is for these associations and all of our companies and agencies to come together and ensure that the standards and policies are in place so technology is used for good. Now, each one of our companies is taking positive action for equality, for sustainability, and for technology. And we're starting to work together through important alliances for collective action. These alliances create collective accountability to do good for the world and to drive growth. Members challenge and inspire each other to make a difference. They share best practices to accelerate action. They create partnerships for innovation to solve the hardest problems. And the results of these efforts, when done well, drives industry growth, which is good for economies and good for all of us. Hundreds of brands and companies are already involved, but they still represent only a fraction of our industry. Just imagine the impact if 100% participated. So let's all continue to take individual action for equality, sustainability, and technology for good, and to join one or more of the alliances for collective action. Each of us can individually do our part, and collectively, we can have an even more powerful impact. Brands affect nearly every person on the planet every single day. We all compete on the basis of innovation and creativity, but what if we could all unite for a common mission to be a force for good and a force for growth? Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Since you ended with such a beautiful note, force for good, force for growth, we've got some really good questions coming your way, if you'd be kind enough to answer them for us, please. So the first question is from Mehul Mohta. He says, big brands can take a stand on social causes, budget permits them, but how you think can small brands do the same?
Any brand can take a stand. Any brand can take a stand. Big brands can absolutely take a stand, and they have a large impact because they reach so many people. But frankly, one of the most effective ways to be able to reach people have been through small brands. Many small brands have been outstanding at identifying and focusing on social issues.
Would you have any brand that comes to your mind straight away?
Well, Native is a good example. It's one of our brands that actually is focusing on sustainability. It's an entirely natural product. It based its entire premise on being sustainable. And there's many small brands that do that as well. So absolutely, it's the right thing to do, and any brand should do it. In fact, I would say literally every brand should identify what are their values, what are the issues that they believe they should take a stand on, because every consumer is expecting that from brands today.
Thank you. What is the ratio of goodness a brand needs to have to be able to be sustainable? What is the ratio of goodness?
Of what? Of ratio of spending?
Of goodness.
of goodness.
Yeah.
The ratio of goodness. Frankly, every brand should have goodness throughout their entire
So
ecosystem.
100%.
Everything, yes, because brands fundamentally need to ensure that they start with high quality, good value, making sure that they're providing the service or the product that is going to be safe and effective and deliver what consumers need. That's what the beauty of what our industry does. Then they can go beyond that now, which is what's exciting about that, in order to be able to provide social and environmental causes beyond that.
Thank you. We've got one question, actually, one last question. And this is from a man who speaks very few words. His name is Srinivasan Keswami. Are companies doing good enough to avoid packaging waste, not just plastic, but cardboard individual packs, which are really cosmetic and not adding a serious functional value?
Are companies doing good to eliminate packaging waste? No.
No?
They have a lot more to do.
They have a
That
lot
is
of
one
work.
of the critical issues in our industry today, is to ensure that we are focusing on eliminating excess packaging. And in fact, going beyond just eliminating excess packaging, but even better, recycling and reusing every single package. I mentioned this before, the Loop Alliance. The Loop Alliance is actually focused on renewing, reusing, and recycling packaging. Packaging is important. You have to have it in order to contain products. But what we really need to focus on doing is making sure that we keep reusing it over and over again, so we can get plastic out of the ocean, so we can get things out of the landfills, and so consumers can use the package for good and make sure the environment is sound.
Right, thank you so much. So it's not just about the brand, it's also about the consumers.
It's all about the consumers.
It's all about us.
Number one.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude this wonderful conversation, may I please invite on stage Ms. Megha Tata, the Chief Operating Officer, Business Television India, to kindly present Mr. Pritchard a memento of gratitude. A very warm welcome to you, Ms. Tata. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pritchard. Thank you. Trust a woman to get the angle right and the stage positioning right. Thanks, Megs.